I remember asking your mother, kind of like, like, you think, and you know, you were running real tough with your girlfriends, with your friends, friends.
Yes.
And so I remember asking your mom, like, do you think they like, you know what I mean? You think your daughter is our daughter like that? You know, and do you remember when I asked you?
Yes.
I said, Monkey, I said, do you like boys?
Why ain't I see you around back when I was down?
I seen that Boosie, shout out to Lil Boosie, he had he ruffled some feathers because one of his daughters is gay, come out as gay. And he went on another platform and said that he didn't want this child to, I don't want to misquoting, but basically pollute the other kids. But he used a different word. And that word that I just said might have been even worse, right? But it was something around that. But, and it's so funny because I don't know if you remember when you were in high school, right? When you were in high school, and I hope I ain't putting you out there. You was in high school and you had your mohawk, and you had your shit cut in the back, you know.
And my chains.
And your chains. You was playing volleyball. You was running track, you know.
I had my guns and my bullet belts.
Had your guns and your bullet. You know, you was a little tomboyish, you know. And I remember asking your mother, kind of like, like, you think, and you know, you were running real tough with your girlfriends, with your friends, friends.
Yes.
And so I remember asking your mom, like, do you think they like, you know what I mean? You think your daughter is our daughter like that? You know, and do you remember when I asked you?
Yes.
I said, Monkey, I said, do you like boys?
Yes.
And I remember, do you remember what you told me?
Well, I probably said
so what you said,
but
no, what you said, and I was kind of like, you said, oh yeah, you said, but the dudes up in my school is a bunch of.
Okay, that's
exactly what you told me, and I was like,
I'm consistent.
Oh, I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I would have loved you the same, but but what are your thoughts on that? You know,
on his daughter or him, and
on
how
his reaction to that.
Well, I think it's just I don't know. I think it's a little bit problematic only because it's like, okay, and I don't know how true this is, but I remember seeing something a few years ago where he hired ex-workers for his like 14 or 15-year-old son. So if we're talking about influence, you know, and once again, I'm not judging. You know, my dad was a rapper. You know, we've talked about this. But, you know, when you listen to Boosie's lyrics and his music and, you know, obviously how he treats his other children, it's like, okay, well, it's not too much better. And then not only that, but we also have to acknowledge that, okay, I'm not saying whether people are born gay, become gay, it doesn't bother me either way. But for the people that maybe, whether it's out of abuse or out of just what they have observed, I still think that, you know, as a man, if this is your child, whether it's her mother or the environment that you have provided for her, maybe look at yourself. You know what I mean? And then two, I think that if you have a child, you should just love them. You know, I don't think that her being gay is the worst thing that she could be in the world.
That's a fact. I agree.
You know, there's children in the ground.
That's a fact.
Seriously.
That's a fact. That's a great perspective too.
Yeah.
And again, I understand Boosie. Boosie is he's younger than me, but he's still from my generation, you know, very old school, down south Bible Belt. You know, they don't. But,
and that's fine, but have that be consistent when you're getting sex workers
that's a
for
fact.
your minor child. That's
a
also abuse. It's not different because he's a little boy.
And I think he has to kind of consolidate, you know, the fact that, again, as I spoke at the beginning of it, you know, which we can still stick true to our principles and our moral fabric and our foundation, but you know, the world is different. You know what I mean? And you don't necessarily have to change.
Yes.
But you have to understand that things around you change. You know? So your tolerance for certain things, it just is what it is. And that's a heavy burden, you know, to carry, to, you know, have such hard opinions about everything. You know, at the end of the day, man, people are people. Like, you know, y'all my kids are grown. Y'all grown. So y'all gonna be who y'all gonna be, whatever that is. We support you. You know, I can't worry about what the y'all doing all the time. You know what I mean? As long as you're okay, you happy, you healthy, do you?
But he apologized, right? Didn't he apologize?
He
okay.
did. And I think it was the wording that threw people off. I don't think it was necessarily...
Yes.
The concept of it. I think people understood that. It was the wording. And the word I used was probably worse than his. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to misquote him. You know what I mean?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, something along those lines. But